The name Dracula immediately conjures images of an aristocratic nocturnal predator, a creature of shadow and blood. But the origins of this legend, and indeed the very concept of a life-draining entity, stretch far beyond Bram Stoker's 19th century novel, or even the brutal reign of Vlad the Impaler in the 15th century. My work here, in the dark archives, is about tracing these supernatural bloodlines, understanding how these entities emerge, adapt, and endure. And few entities have a lineage as complex or as compelling as the vampire. The most surprising aspect isn't its modern Gothic form, but how ancient and universally terrifying its roots truly are. To truly understand the phenomenon of Dracula, we must first look to the ancient world, to the very bedrock of human fear. Long before the crumbling castles of Transylvania became synonymous with the undead, cultures across Mesopotamia, Greece, and especially the early Slavic lands wrestled with the terrifying idea of entities that steal life force. We find echoes in the Sumerian demoness Lilith, preying on infants, or the Greek Empusa, a shape-shifting seductress who fed on men's vitality. But it is in the rich tapestry of Eastern European folklore, particularly the Slavic Upir or the Romanian Strigoi, that we see the direct, chilling ancestors of our modern vampire. These were often believed to be reanimated corpses, individuals who died unnaturally, perhaps before baptism, or were born with certain physical marks, returning from the grave to drain the blood of their families, neighbors, and livestock. Their original purpose was primal: to explain sudden, inexplicable deaths, the spread of illness, and the chilling, universal fear of the dead refusing to stay buried. As these deeply ingrained beliefs migrated and mingled across the rugged Carpathian Mountains and throughout the Balkans, they adapted to local fears and distinct traditions, forging a rich, complex tapestry of regional variations. In Romania, for instance, the foundational strigoi evolved into even more specific forms. The live strigoi, a living witch whose soul could leave their sleeping body at night to meet other strigoi and feed, and the dead strigoi, the more commonly understood reanimated corpse. Then there were the moroi, often spirits of the dead, sometimes children, who could also drain vitality, and the particularly terrifying prikolishi, a werewolf-like vampire, often the soul of an unbaptized child or a wicked person, returning in the form of a dog or wolf to wreak havoc. Each culture added its own specific, often grim, rules for how one became a vampire. Perhaps a call at birth, an extra nipple, or an unnatural violent death. Even a pregnant mother, not consuming enough salt, could, according to some traditions, lead to a vampire child. And each region developed unique protocols for detection, like opening graves 5 or 7 years after burial to check for unsettling signs of undeath. What remained remarkably consistent, however, across these diverse interpretations was the nocturnal nature of the threat, the insatiable thirst for life essence, and the profound difficulty in truly putting these entities to permanent rest. It's a powerful testament to a universal human fear, the idea of one's very life being stolen, whether through mysterious illness, unforeseen misfortune, or a predatory force from beyond the grave. Then came a truly pivotal transformation, one that irrevocably fused historical brutality with folkloric terror, changing the vampire myth forever. Enter Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, a 15th century ruler known to history as Vlad the Impaler. His name, Dracula, meaning son of the dragon, or more ominously, son of the devil, immediately lent itself to dark associations. Vlad was a ruthless military leader who employed impalement on a horrific scale, famously leaving a forest of the impaled with an estimated 20,000 victims outside Targoviste to deter the mighty Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. Contemporary German and Slavic narratives sensationalized his cruelty, portraying him as a demented sadist. These graphic accounts, spread by the newly invented printing press, were, in essence, some of Europe's first bestsellers of horror. For many Romanians, however, Vlad is often viewed through a different lens, as a national hero whose extreme methods, though brutal, were tragically necessary to protect his small land from overwhelming foreign invaders. It was this chilling historical reputation, combined with centuries of rich Eastern European vampire folklore, particularly the Nosferatu legends that had gained traction, that Bram Stoker masterfully wove into his seminal 1897 novel, Dracula. Stoker's genius was in taking the name of a historical tyrant and grafting it onto the body of a supernatural entity, creating the iconic aristocratic immortal count we recognize today, complete with new, terrifying abilities like shape-shifting into bats or wolves, and hypnotic charm. This was not a direct historical portrayal, but a brilliant, terrifying synthesis, forever altering the vampire's trajectory from local revenant to global phenomenon. From Stoker's groundbreaking novel, the Count Dracula exploded into the global consciousness, evolving rapidly through the 20th and 21st centuries. He became an inescapable staple of cinema, television, and literature, shaping our collective understanding of what a vampire is and can be. Bran Castle, despite historical evidence suggesting Vlad never truly resided there, became universally marketed as Dracula's Castle, a major tourist magnet, demonstrating the pervasive commercialization of the myth. The entity now reflects our most modern fears and fascinations. The seductive promise of immortality, the allure of forbidden power, the monstrous lurking beneath a veneer of sophistication and charm. And even today, science continues to intersect with the myth in fascinating ways. Recent chemical analysis of Vlad's actual letters suggests he may have suffered from hemolacria, a rare condition causing tears of blood. A haunting detail that, while purely physiological, adds another layer of tragic, visceral imagery to the legend, inadvertently connecting ancient suffering to the myth of blood. My own equipment, like this custom EMF detector, is a contemporary attempt to understand the echoes of these ancient forces, a modern lens on age-old fears. The extraordinary journey of Dracula, from ancient, nameless fears and primordial spirits to a specific historical figure, and then to a global, enduring icon, is a powerful and revealing lesson. It vividly shows how our deepest anxieties about death, disease, and the unknown are externalized, given terrifying form, and then endlessly reinterpreted. The vampire, in its myriad cultural guises, is a truly universal archetype, a mirror reflecting our changing understanding of what it means to be alive, what it means to die, and what terrifying possibilities might lie beyond. It reminds us that while the specific manifestations and cultural interpretations may evolve across millennia, the core human experience of fear and the profound need to understand the darkness that surrounds us remains constant, and that, in itself, is a story endlessly worth preserving and exploring. That's all for today's investigation into the shadows. If you want to dive deeper into the dark archives, make sure to subscribe to the HistoT YouTube channel. Remember, knowledge is our best defense against the darkness, and I'll see you in the next archive. Stay vigilant.